Hello everyone, Dan Hurt with Dan Hurt Prospecting here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I hope to earn your subscription today. I am in a downpour, a torrential downpour. I had plans to go to the Blue Chip mine today and take a video and do all sorts of work up there, but the weather has got something else in mind. The Blue Chip mine is, oh, you see that big chunk of gray over there? That's where the Blue Chip mine is. And it is just pouring right now. Pouring rain. But you know what they say, when you're given lemons, make lemonade. So let's see what we can do today. Let's see if I can even get in this muddy road. Wish me luck. It's wet. Back inside the truck here, out of the rain. I am using my waterproof camera today, so I don't wreck my good camera, so the audio might be a little bit, funky there. It might not sound the greatest. But we make do with what we got. We make the best of every situation, correct? Ew. Luckily, I'm in no rush. I can sit in the truck for long periods of time waiting for the rain to diminish. This is one spot that concerns me every time I drive in here. The hillside a couple years ago sloughed off in a big rainstorm. Sloughed off, came right down over the road. Now luckily I didn't block the road and enough traffic's gone over it and it's still passable. But I always worry about this hillside here getting too saturated again and coming back down over the road. Because if it comes down here, I'm blocked out completely. I'd have to rent a machine to free myself up. But looking at the dirt right now, it looks wet on the surface but dry underneath, so I think I'm fine still. It's raining. Ooh. So one nice thing about the rain, when it gets the rocks all wet, you can really see the quartz seams in these talus slopes, these rock slide slopes. You can see the rocks that have quartz on them very easy because when they're wet like this, the quartz just glows, stands out so much. And that is something I want to do here one time. This is all my claim here, is I want to come and sample all of these kind of little stones I see, because you know that rock there came from up there somewhere. And if I find any gold in any of these rocks down below, I know, oh look at that one, big one up there. I know to start looking uphill from them. That's prospecting for you. Rain, that's prospecting for you. I'm gonna kill myself on these wet rocks. Ah! Now if you watch my videos to see my adventures in prospecting and attempting to find gold and all that kind of stuff, you've come to the right place, obviously. If you watch my videos just to see the shiny at the end, this video is not for you. I'm not actually going to be getting any gold today. I'm doing some other aspects of prospecting. I'm swapping out my trail cams at the moment. I'm going to look to see what the state of the mine is in, just going into sort of the deep of winter here. And I'm going to look at some of the quartz seams now that it's soaking wet for sure, and see if I can see any shiny. But I'm actually not processing gravels, I'm not digging today. Just here for the adventure, in the rain. And maybe while we're at it, we'll find something exciting. Maybe we will learn something along the way. Maybe I'll find the perfect opportunity to teach you about something. But we don't really know. We're just in it for the adventure today. Things look so different in the wintertime than they do in the spring and the summer. Now, something I should mention is that winter can be one of the most dangerous times around one of these old adits. It's not earthquakes that bring down adits. It's this stuff right here, water. Water is what brings down old adits, and specifically freezing water. Water in wintertime works its way down into all the cracks of the rock, and when water freezes, it expands and gets bigger, and that forces rocks apart. That is what makes rocks fall, and is what makes adits collapse in, is freezing water. Sure, earthquakes would do it too, but they're very, very rare. Freezing water happens every winter. All of these rocks down on the floor in the adits are most likely from above and have been wedged free by freezing water. Now, we've been well above zero for quite some time here where the Blue Chip Mine is. It's not freezing yet, so I'm not too worried right now, but give it a month's time and I would not want to be walking inside this adit. Not until spring. So I'm playing around now with this underwater camera, the waterproof camera, to see about taking sort of more artistic shots. I haven't done those kind of shots with this camera before, so just playing around with some time-lapse stuff inside and some long exposure. Don't know what is going to turn out. This camera doesn't really have the same settings as the other one, but kind of cool. And I was out of the rain for a bit. Something I would like to do one day is sample this dirt. Now this dirt here, it's not washed in from rivers or anything like that. It is all eroded from the hillside above. It's the rocks decomposing, making this dirt. Now because all those rocks that are decomposing up there do host those gold seams, I want to see if there is any gold in the eroded dirt here, because there's lots of it. So one day I'm going to bring my high banker, set it up just down here, pump out of the adit that's full of water, and run a bunch of this dirt, run a yard of it, and see if there's any specks of gold in it. Just for information's sake. Ah, slimy hill. Oh my goodness. The seam, the quartz seam that's full of gold, runs right through there. Just about like that. And I definitely want to investigate to see if the dirt below that has got some of the quartz, or even better yet, gold in it. Let's go look at adit number 3. Here's a really good example of that dirt I'm talking about. This here is the rock breaking down, decomposing, like that solid rock in behind there. And it's breaking down into this sand. If I dug down very deep, like if I dug down a foot, this stuff would turn into solid rock again. But out here on the surface where water and oxygen and all that's getting at it, it's weathering away into this sand. If that hosts gold, some of the gold particles could actually get released into this sand. Now, the quartz seams are what hold the gold, mostly, but some of the gold does go into the host rock. So, it's possible this sand has gold in it. But it needs to be tested. Now I have a very dirty hand. Now here, the dirt on the ground is more of a mine dump. This is the mine dump from adit number 3, for sure. And you can see in it, you've got quartz all through it, you've got ironstone, you've got pyrites. This stuff does hold gold. I have tested it. It's just a small amount, but the stuff in the mine dump here does hold gold. And I do plan to run some of it one day through a high banker and see if that will produce any volumes. We've sort of tested that once before. Adit number 3. Now I know some of the locals around here love to point out when I make mistakes, and they're probably listening to that last comment and saying, Dan, that's a mineral claim. You can't run a high banker at a mineral claim. That's not allowed. Well, no. A high banker can't be run on a mineral claim if you're processing alluvial materials, if you're running it as a placer operation. It can be run at a mineral claim if you're running eluvial, the hard rock or the talus or the stuff that's eroded from hard rock but not made it into rivers. That is allowed on a hard rock claim. We have two different types of claims here in BC. We have placer and hard rock, or mineral, and they do have different rules. But yes, you can run a high banker if you're prospecting for the minerals, the hard rock stuff. You can't own a mineral claim to circumvent the placer rules and say that you're, searching for bedrock or anything like that. You have to actually be properly searching for mineral lode gold. I have tested the dirt down below this quartz seam and found some pretty nice gold in it that's eroded out of that quartz seam. Right over here is where I found a whole bunch of visible gold in that quartz seam, but I've, removed all of that already. But that quartz seam obviously goes vertical. If it's eroding away, all the dirt from above it could have specks of gold in it. I hear a frog. Something else I should point out about safety around adits in the wintertime, inside an adit is actually safer than right at the portal, because right at the outside edge here, you have all of this rock from above and debris from above also weathering, and it's out exposed to the cold much more, so rocks on the surface are falling down in front of an adit far more often than they're falling inside one. You can see that here. All this debris has all come from above, where inside, not that much has fallen. But out here on the surface, lots and lots has fallen. For three reasons. One, you actually have physical access to a whole lot more area for things to fall from above it. Two, you have all these roots from plants prying rocks apart. And three, the freeze and thaw on the surface is so much more intense than it is inside. In fact, inside adit number 2, the main one, it doesn't really freeze inside deep in. It stays nice and warm in the winter. Only on the surface, on the outside, does it freeze. So the outside of an adit is more dangerous than the inside. That being said, if the outside collapsed completely and you were inside, you are screwed. Here's the main quartz seam, where it comes through on the outside on the surface. It disappears under the slough here for a bit before it reappears over by adit number 2. So you think the humidity is possibly pretty high here today? And the rain starts pouring again. I don't spend too much time over here at adit number 1 because it has a very big slough down in front of it. The hillside from above came down, brought down a huge tree and a whole lot of dirt. It hasn't plugged it, but it came close to it. So this is adit number 1. It's completely flooded right up here. It is my water source if I ever need it in the future. A little hose down there, I can pump water all day long. Goes back about 100 meters and it's right full of water, so there's a lot of water in there. And if I ever wanted to run a high banker over there, that's where I'd get the water from. Awfully foggy pictures today, eh? I am soaked. I'm just absolutely soaked at the moment. I'd like to take a picture inside, but it's a little difficult to at the moment. And water's really dripping off these rocks. I would get really wet. That'll be another day. Artistic pictures inside. Ooh, with the underwater camera. That could be cool. There's the quartz seam again. Fold from above. Comes right by here. Now, as I said, standing at the portal of these things is more dangerous than inside in this situation, especially when it's raining so hard. Anything could come down at the moment, so I'm pissing off. Wah! As I fall in the hole. I have really wet feet. I have sneakers on. Not really the best footwear. Or what? I don't know. Bet you there's gold in this pile right here. Bet you there's gold. Someday, that tree right there is going to come down. And I'm really worried how much of the adit number 2 it's going to block when it falls. I should show you the quartz seam here. So there's adit number 2. The quartz seam runs above it, right through there. Comes down on an angle, like that, like that, like that. And that's adit number 1 behind that tree. And I just showed you the quartz seam right there. And then it disappears underground. So I know that's something a little bit different. Not really prospecting, but hey, it's something I can do during the winter time here. Show you around the blue chip mine a bit. Have a bit of fun in the rain. Got to keep new content coming for the YouTube channel, of course. Again, if seeing gold is what you're into, I got hundreds of videos on that. Go check out the rest of my channel. If you like my adventures though, it was quite the adventure today in the soggy wilderness. Look at the fog. My lens is even fogging up. That didn't really help. It's just too foggy. I do sure hope that you enjoy my content, even when I'm not actually actively finding gold and just, you know, screwing around prospecting. Leave me a comment below. Tell me if you like watching this stuff, even when I don't find gold, or if you'd rather me just take videos of me striking it rich, or finding the gold. And you know, if I get enough people saying, hey, I don't want to see this kind of stuff, I'll leave it to just those situations where I find good gold. But if I get a lot of people saying, I want to see it all, I might do some more of these little videos to keep things coming onto the channel when I'm not finding the gold. What would you prefer? Nothing? Or something where I don't find gold? Let me know. I gotta get back in the truck. I'm starting to get shuggy. I'm getting too moist. Ew. So I'm gonna sign off now. Please leave me that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And you know, if you haven't subscribed already and you like this, please consider subscribing. I have hundreds of more videos on YouTube, and I will be making hundreds more in the future. And if you like this one, you'll probably like what's to come. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram if you want to see behind the scenes footage or hints of what's coming up in the future. And as always, I love hearing your comments. Big thanks to my patrons for your support. Until the next one, everyone. Bye.